QuickAdminPanel is a generator of admin panel in Laravel. But the most typical questions we get from our customers is how to add the front-end theme, and do we generate the front-end theme? We don't generate that, but we decided to create a demo project. How would you implement that? So for example, on top of admin panel to manage tasks by admin, you would get a user registration with a different design, different theme, and users would get to their own tasks and could manage them in a simple table like this, but with a different design, with front-end theme, and without even accessing the admin panel at all. An admin would still be able to log in and manage tasks and users. So we implemented that, and in this video I will show you how it works and what are the code changes required, and we'll give you a GitHub repository for you to take a look. So if I register as a simple user, I will use fake filler Chrome extension to register. As you can see, it's a different design. It's a front-end theme, actually default by Laravel UI. And on the front end, you manage your task. It's still the same form, it's still the same data table, but extending different layout. And you can also change your password. So you could take the GitHub repo, which is mentioned in this video, and it will be in the description below, and then clone more menu items here on the menu item, or change your layout into a different one, but with separation logic that user is separated from the admin. So let's see the code. First, the design itself, the layout. So this layout comes from default Laravel, and for that we create a separate layout. So in our admin panel system, there's admin blade and app blade in layouts folder, and we create a user blade, which is this one, and the HTML text comes from the default Laravel UI package. So this one, it's available for free on GitHub, and we basically copy pasted almost all of that into our user blade, with a few small changes. So at the bottom we have session message, which isn't present in the original, so any session message that comes to that will be shown here at the top of the content. And also we add our menu items. So in default Laravel UI, menu is empty here, with the idea that you would add it yourself, and we actually do add them. So if the user can access the tasks, we show the route for user tasks and not admin tasks. It's a user task. We will get to the routes in a second. And then profile password edit. And since we use the same Laravel project for users and admins, the difference is layout, we can use the same permissions. So whatever permissions are set, like for task access on the backend, we can reuse them for the front-end layout. Next, we take care of the blades that extend that layout. So tasks folder for resources views admin is from admin panel. So we basically copy paste all of that folder into resources views user tasks. So we have admin index blade with the table and copy pasted user index blade. It's almost identical. The contents are identical, but just a different wrapper for container. So these three lines are new, but if you see here, everything else is almost identical. So we basically duplicate the admin functionality into a separate layout user folder. And as you can see, those user blade files extend layouts user. And also we create a separate home blade for the users, which would be the copy of default Laravel dashboard. Now let's take a look at the routing changes. So default admin panel would automatically redirect to login page. So this changes. Now instead of route redirect, we get route view into a separate welcome page. And then the user would log in or register, and then they would fall into admin area or user area. Admin routes are here, almost identical as they were, but with one additional middleware. We check not only auth, but also admin. And in a minute I will show you what that admin is as a middleware. And then we have a separate group for user with their own route name, with namespace for controllers, and with middleware only auth. We don't check for admin. And users can access their home, which will be the default page which they see after login, and then they can manage their own tasks. And also there's route group for changing password, which is accessible for both admin and simple user. Now the middleware admin, what that is. If we go to our kernel, HTTP kernel, there's a middleware registered somewhere here in route middleware. So admin is the name of the middleware, which is actually isAdmin class. If we go to isAdmin class, this is the check. So if the user is not admin, we abort with 403, which means forbidden. And isAdmin, this thing in user model, It's not a new thing, it's generated by QuickAdminPanel automatically, is admin attribute, checks if the role ID is 1, which is administrator. So we just use that accessor in a separate middleware, which we then use in a kernel, register in a kernel, and use in our routes as here. So even if simple user knows the URL of admin, they won't be able to access them. Another small example where we use those routes is on the home page. So if you load the home page and see this welcome page, there's a link. If you're logged in, it will show home, which should lead to a separate page. And here we check if user is admin, then the route is admin home, otherwise it's user home. Similar change in login controller. So we need to override the redirect property and have a function redirect to, and here we check if it's admin, then we redirect to admin panel, otherwise we redirect to user panel. And finally, we get to the controllers. So by default in QuickAdminPanel, there's an admin folder here. And in the routes, you can see it namespace admin. And in route group for the user, there's namespace user, which represents this folder. And we generate two controllers here. Home controller for a static home page, and then task controller, which is basically copied from the admin tasks controller. Almost identical, with a difference that the layout is different. The view is user tasks index and not admin tasks index. So as you can see, the whole logic of the backend of the permission controllers models, it all stays the same. But what you need to do to adopt the user design is play with layouts, the middlewares, and the redirects after login or after registration. And I remind you that by default, QuickAdminPanel generates two roles, admin and user. And in most projects, in my experience, it's enough to separate those two. So admin sees only the admin panel, and simple user is a simple person who would register and manage their tasks, for example. As I mentioned, the repository for all of that is in the description of this video and also on the screen, so you can check that out. And I hope it will help you to create your front pages in addition to our generated QuickAdminPanel.